Matt, what can be done with whatever it is, 5 games left, 4 games left, I'm sorry, to kickstart the offense and in particular the running game?
Yeah, well, I think I'm going to have to watch that to give you a better answer in terms of, that question. Obviously, that is a major issue. And for whatever reason, our inability to find consistency there, really puts us behind the 8 ball offensively. So, I think it was great to get some of those guys back, for Cartavius, really his first full game. Great to get Jirel back. But right now it's not where we need it to be, or, it needs to be for us to be successful offensively. And I think it really does start there.
Hunter had maybe 2, maybe 3 designed plays to run. He had more than that against Texas. Why not that as many today?
Well, I think twofold. Number one, there were a couple of those plays in there that, how the defensive structure kind of navigated the C and D gap. That's why the ball didn't get pulled. So, and the reality is he did a great job reading that the right way. I think those are, especially when you're going to ask to run the quarterback, you're doing that with risk of a lot of things as well. As I think you've seen in this conference, just about every quarterback's not played the entirety of the season. So I think that, we're good enough to be able to run the ball with more consistency with our tailbacks, and I still think it starts there. So, I thought Hunter did a great job, though, when you ask about those decision-making plays, at the quarterback position. I thought he did a great job, and they obviously wanted the tailback to carry the football at times and not him carry the football at times.
How do you feel about the play of your defense today? Especially the back end. It seemed like some of those guys were all over the place.
Man, I just said that downstairs. I probably the best game I've ever seen TJ Tampa play. You're talking an elite wide receiver and a really good quarterback, and man, the play after play after play that he was able to make and show, I think, that was the final cap for him to become what we think is an elite football player. And I think he showed, all of those tools and more throughout the game. And, I think the entirety of that secondary, I thought really did a great job. And again, hats off. Our defense gave us every chance to stay in the football game and win the football game. And, the only, concerning piece of it is when we had a chance to really create great momentum. Obviously on the 4th and 3 and the fake field goal, that was tough, because I think, they did such a great job getting that stop there that, those things are tough. And again, I sound like a broken record, but it's the inconsistency, right? It's, our inability to just sustain momentum and create that consistency that you got to do to win the football game. And so a lot of things like TJ that are out there in that football game, and that's the hard part. You see the growth in a lot of areas and still the inconsistency in others, and that's what's holding us back.
It seemed like there were a lot of times where the momentum was kind of swinging your way. What stopped you guys from capitalizing on it and really building on it?
Yeah, it's really just kind of what I said. It's inconsistency. And, I think that's been the theme, really, of our inability to play with great consistency for 4 quarters of a football game. And, it's not like it's ever been real easy to win, right? You gotta be able to do those things to win the football game. And, I think that's the thing for us that this team is continuing to learn is, you have to be able to capitalize on those opportunities when the momentum's there for the taking. You got to be able to make that play. And, and that's not just offensively, that's really globally at times. That's hindered us from maybe having the success that we have had the ability to have. And it'll be what gets us out of this too. It'll be the thing that springboards us forward. And, where do you get that? The only way I know how is you got to go back to work. You got to continue to pound away at your craft. And, it's not an attitude and effort thing, which I think we're all grateful for. But it is a detail and precision piece. And those things are earned through how you work Monday through Friday to get ready for the football game.
Big talking point has always been, navigating kind of the peaks and valleys of a season. What's your message to your team right now while they're kind of navigating or going through the valley right now?
Well, you're in a tough valley. And when you're in that valley, and we've been that here at times, as we've gone through the building phase of this program, we were in 18 when we were 1-4. We were in 16 and 17, and we've been in that valley. And what it takes is it takes your best players and the leadership of your football team to play a football. And, there's in some ways we're getting that, in some other ways we're not. And, we're going to have to continue to fight through that. And the thing that I am encouraged by is we have great leadership. The thing that is still frustrating is some of our best players are still playing inconsistent at times, and we need to be better.
I think kind of we're referencing that first year when you got here, just how does this year and what you're dealing with now kind of resemble that time? And I guess what did you learn from that period?
Well, I think you learned a lot. I think in a lot of ways it is, in some similarities in terms of you look at the production coming back, what we were, one of the two or three, 127, 126 and Division I college football of guys that played or had experience coming back. And so, I think that your inconsistency is part of the navigation process. And so, I think what you learn is you learn to understand the positives, where growth is happening, and not be a fool to not address those in a positive way with your football team. And yet, have the courage where those areas aren't getting done to be able to stand up, address it, and challenge those guys or make changes to continue to put your team in the best position to be successful. And obviously that starts at the top with the head football coach. So, I got to do a great job of that and making sure we're addressing those things consistently as we go.
Matt, how has falling behind consistently fueled that inconsistency maybe?
Well, I think that has been you can write the narrative of the last 5 games, right? Man, you're down by 7. Then next thing you know, you're playing catch up. The game's not playing in your favor. So at times you kind of, you try to get it going faster. And sometimes now you're throwing the ball a little bit more. And then it's just like, I can write the narrative. They're all the same. And so I think the things that's frustrating about those things are we haven't, as coaches, we can be a huge piece of that as well, as we haven't maybe pressed that right button to play the game maybe the way we need to play the game to kind of swing it in our tide. And so, it's frustrating, and those things happen. That's part of the journey. But I think that has certainly not helped us, because I think there is a strong parallel there. The last 5 games, they've really kind of all looked the same in terms of how it started and at times how it's finished.
You referenced the fake field goal being successful earlier. Is that something that can get lost in the shuffle, the 27-13 game, how monumental that was in terms of momentum?
Boy, when I watch our kids, lay it on the line and make a huge goal line stop. And you're talking, I think that shifted from a 6-3 game to a 10-7 or 10-3 game. Yeah, I think that's a monumental play in the game, and again, it's easy to go down this rabbit hole, right? It is, especially when you're sitting where we are right now. There's a lot of momentum plays in all 3 phases, and today in the special teams piece of it, that was a huge football play where we had an opportunity. The defense lays it on the line, and then we end up giving them kind of get out of jail free card, and so that's tough. And so you look at that. I thought that was a huge play in the game.
Matt, excuse me, you just referenced momentum, and rightfully so. That's football. You had a chance to get some momentum. You went 3rd and 1. Deckers in the first half, first quarter, second quarter.
Yeah.
I don't know where.
Yeah.
You know where I'm going with this. Deckers.
Yeah, the snap.
Deckers was in shotgun and instead of under center. What do you have to see there?
We're not going to the under center world, Randy, are we? No. Here, and what happened was, right, we were going to shift into a play, and instead of shifting, the ball gets snapped, right? It's a detail deal, again, has that happened? Yes. Right, that's happened. How many times I've seen that happen? 2 or 3 times now this season. We get inside the opponent's 40-yard line, and we have something happen between the exchange with the quarterback and the center, And so, it's not that it's 3rd and 1, and, you'd like to know if we were going to go under center on that, I'm sure. But, the reality of the situation is, it can't happen. Those are critical errors that we must continue to pound a way to get addressed. And, that's not on anybody, but let's put it on the coaching, because, again, it continues to show up. So we got to do a better job. And again, I'll put that as much on me as I will anybody else.
mentioned, changes sometimes have to come. What kind of changes can come mid-season, I guess? Is it personnel type stuff, or what kind at this point can you kind of look at
I
to
think you're
evaluate?
so young in so many ways. You're trying to really continue to find the right combinations of everything. Of how do you continue to put this team in the best position to be successful, and that's what coaching is, right? Coaching isn't you just sit back here and draw up plays. I think it's a global whole, and part of it is continuing to pound away. And I think it always starts with, man, are we putting the right guys in the right position to be successful? And if we are or we're not, why and how do we do it better?
Reader, what's up with that?
I think we'll have him back, next week. It was a game time decision, and it just was not ready yet. And for that kid's future, and really for our team, like it would have been wrong to play him today.
And maybe I can end this on a positive. Your punter, I mean, seriously, put Oklahoma in some bad situations.
Yeah, Randy, they're you talk about those two freshmen playing Sam linebacker. You start with Reader. I mean, man, not probably real pretty in the first half, and then the growth that those kids made from the second quarter on, man, you couldn't be prouder of those guys. A freshman punter, man. We think this Tyler Perkins has got a chance to be really special. You thought he did a great job, and we haven't done some of those things with the consistency at times, throughout our tenure here, but we think we got a great one for the future of our program, and a guy that's playing really good football for us. It's great to see Jace come back and have a really good day. So, I think there are a lot of things that we continue to grow through, but, man, we have to be better. I know that. I'm not naive, and our consistency must be better if we want to get out of this valley and get ourselves back in the win column. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks, guys. A little bit. Yeah.